Hello and welcome to 30 Frames a Second. Now, you know what today is by seeing me here. It's Takeover Tuesday, and I can't wait to get started with my co-host. Take it over, Nat. Back here. In case you don't know, we are the women of the control room, and today is Takeover Tuesday. We could never fill Nat's shoes, but we do our best on topics that we are concerned with. Next to me, one of my co-hosts is Miss Sheila Berry. She's the executive producer of Gospel Showcase, and she's an executive producer of Community Cop, and always a welcome addition to our family. She adds a sense of comedy to this threesome, I like to say, and some good old-fashioned common sense. Next, this woman needs no introduction, but I have to do it anyway. It's why I get paid the big bucks. Miss Veronica Kitt. She is the founder of the People's Film Festival. Please remember that. I'll say it slowly. People's Film Festival. You want to be there. She's also the producer and host of the VK Report. And she's a director, an editor, a writer, my friend, a producer, a camera woman, and just an all-around superhero.
Oh, thank
you're my hero. I want to be you when I grow up.
Oh, and she's talking, right? Oh, man. I live vicariously through her.
We are so excited to be here, and what a way to start the new year.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
A lot happening. I think we left last year with a record number of women being elected in office.
Yes.
And I think that was for two. Right.
Like
that's for two reasons. One, and I think obviously more women ran. Yeah. More women can't get elected if more women don't run. But I think on that note, we had to get quite a few women out to vote locally as well. If we leave it only to the male vote, we're in trouble. So I think it's awesome that so many women and so many different types of women, different ethnic types.
Exactly. And the climate is right. Go.
But you know what? Do you remember all of these men when we were taking call in, oh, we're not voting for Hillary because they didn't want to vote for her because she was a woman. Well, look what you got, number 45. Goody, goody.
Okay, I don't know what number 45 is. Fill me.
Trump.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
But in terms of choices, was Hillary the best choice anyway at that particular time?
From what he's done, she was the best choice, is the best choice.
Or Bernie
between the two
Sanders.
Bernie was good.
I think
I don't think the
what
world
happened.
was ready for a woman yet.
I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know. I just don't think she was the woman that the majority wanted. Because a lot of people I knew, and as much as I dislike it, decided to not vote, period. Because they weren't happy with either candidate they saw. And again, we don't know everything that happened with Russia and this and that, but
An electoral college
yeah.
because their votes end up not counting because
Right.
Hillary
The
got over
popular
two.
vote.
Right, and so then why didn't she win? So something happened. It was fixed. I mean, if everyone, you said they didn't feel like voting, it didn't matter because after you put your vote in, someone else makes the decision. And I remember when Trump was on stage, he was addressing, I forgot where the audience, and he's like, boy, he said, this election is rigged. He was saying something like, we're going to clean this up, because he knew that something wasn't right. This is the biggest scam ever.
Well, I
we
will
need
say
to fix
that
this democratic process.
with all the investigation, there have been over 6 people closely linked to the White House
Going to jail.
as it is now that have been convicted of something. But many, I think a total of maybe 25 to 30. I don't want to speak out of turn,
crazy?
but at least 6 close. But let's move forward. Let's move forward.
Yeah, because the mockery of
yes.
our democratic process in America, is here, and it's unfortunate that we can't get it right. It's just. I used to, in the beginning, I laughed at it. I'm looking at it as The Apprentice, and I'm like, oh, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. But now this is serious. People's lives are being affected.
Absolutely.
You're trading border walls for young people who've never been in their country before to get kicked out of America, to go back to, to someplace where they never, it's just really unfortunate. Like, we can do better than this. And if we don't, there's others watching. We could potentially be
back in slavery when you want someone to work for no pay. We're stripped of our dignity because, okay, it's nice of the food banks and everything to feed people, but what about the dignity of ordering your own food, going home, cooking your own food? He's taking that away. And it's not even on down to the color line. It's rich or poor. He don't care. And the people that's behind this, because he's just a dummy that they're using to put this forth and to say these crazy things that he's saying. Take away someone's dignity.
Well, he's getting it from somewhere.
That's terrible.
We're going to be looking, if he's impeached, Pence is the next president.
And he's worse.
And he's the one that's pulling the strings.
Well, we have less than 2 years, or about.
Right.
So, moving forward,
But
if
if
I'm
he-
correct, when, Veronica, will it be that we are announcing Democratic and
What is it,
Republican? Is it November?
Nominations?
Nominations. When do we?
Yeah, I believe it is 2020. Well, wait a minute. Next year.
Isn't it?
No, I
next
think
year?
it's this year we announce, and
because
next year
they're
we
coming
vote.
out. And it's scary.
Wait a minute. This is 2019,
Yeah.
2020. I thought it was 20.
This year.
Wait a minute. That's his 4th year?
Yeah, next year.
Oh, wow.
Time is going fast.
He's done a lot of destruction. He's only been in office 2 years.
I know.
Okay. Quick.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is January. By November, we'll be announcing, and next November, December, we'll be voting, and then
hopefully
in January,
America is here.
the next person.
Make it great. Make it exist.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily if it's that we're not ready for a woman. That breaks my heart because there are other countries, India, there are just other countries who put that aside and get the best candidate. But let's go on that note.
And speaking of women.
But speaking of women, I am so excited that Kamala Harris
Kamala.
Kamala?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Like
Kamala.
Pamela.
I apologize.
Am I saying that right,
Kamala.
Kamala? Well, I tell you, she's, everybody's been pronouncing her name, but I think it's Kamala.
Kamala, like Pamela.
Like Pamela.
I think you did say that early, Kamala. I've already gotten the wrong way in my head.
Kamala.
But
Maybe
I
they're saying
sincerely
Kamala.
apologize for that. But whatever they want to call you, I don't care what they call you,
Go,
as long as
sister
they
girl.
call you. As long as they call you. How do you feel about her?
I don't even have an opinion, to be honest. The fact that she's a black woman, I'm proud of that. The fact that she stepped up and said, yes, I can do something about this. I can change America. I can make things happen for everyone. So I applaud her for that. But yeah, go for it.
No,
There's
there was a but.
There's a lot of people that are throwing their hats in the ring, but I support her. I totally support her. But I don't have much of an opinion.
Is that because you don't know, or you're still
I don't
waiting
know
to
her.
see?
I'm still
okay.
waiting to see.
Oh, okay.
And you know, politics is something that I kind of like cringed at, only because I take a note out of my dearly beloved Charles Barron, who says. He says the Republicans and the Democrats, he says they're Republicrats. It's all mixed up. It's like it's all the same thing. You know, like we look at Christian Gillibrand, who's running, and
Elizabeth.
Warren. I only remember Gillibrand coming down to the National Action Network during Martin Luther King Day, and she spoke. That was a few years ago. Actually, this was during the time with when David Patterson was the governor, and they put her in office. But I don't see her that much.
What did she do?
Like, yeah, what has she done? And so then she was there again, I've heard. But yeah, politics is not just for appearances. You know, to say, hey, hello, you have a voting block that should be nurtured, that should be, you know, you need to really think about who we are and how you can really help this particular base group of people, and not just on Martin Luther King Day. So I don't know. I just stay out of it. Because I have other words to say, but I just stay out of it.
Well, I have an exact quote. I'm running to fight for Medicare for all, universal pre-K, debt-free college, and more, to guarantee middle-class families a pay increase up to $500 a month, with the largest working class tax cut in decades. Those were her exact words.
Kamala?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Hopefully it can be, we can bring it back, because number 45, he unraveled everything that Obama did. So let's see how we can bring this back, because he has cut housing, even with some of the housing recipients people that receive housing, he wants them to go to work certain amount of hours and things like that. So he's unraveled Obamacare, everything. So yes, let's see you bring that back. I'm all for it, because we're looking at a lot of people who are going to be in trouble. If we think that the 3 weeks of the government 32 days of the government shutdown was something, you know, I'm fearful of what's going to happen in 3 weeks in February when he doesn't get his wall. You don't, you know, this is not guns and butter. You don't say, hey, give me what I want, boo-hoo, like a
baby.
or I'm going to take away your livelihood. You know, I'm going to destroy your life. That's not leadership. Leadership is for everyone. It's bigger than that, and so I'm fearful of that. So I commend her for saying that that's what she wants, and I hope that's what we get.
On the shutdown, do you know anyone that personally has been? Do you?
Yeah, a family member, I do. And it got to the point where he actually went to get unemployment. And so that he could, you know, have funds to take care of himself. But that wasn't enough. He just brought a condo, and you know, so yeah. So it's hurtful. But not only that, we're looking at the TSA. That is the gatekeepers.
Where I felt it.
Yeah, that is the gatekeepers of your country that protect you, citizens, people from coming in and out. You know, those are your eyes and ears, and you took from them.
Air traffic control is where I felt it. The flight delays, I've been flying a lot.
Wow.
I've been on 6 airplanes, 246, since the new year. And that's where I felt it.
You know something? To my opinion, and this is a Sheila Berry opinion, since he called a strike, his security guards or whoever is protecting him, they should not show up for work.
But they
And
probably
see how he'd like that. The cooks, the maids, and whatever that he's used to, because he's a government official.
Right, but it's probably a different
employees, they should not show up to work. Let him see what it's like to go
He'll
without.
just go to McDonald's. Hello.
They may not serve him. Mexicans work there.
Now, Sheila, I know we were talking earlier just about women we admire and look up to, and there were just a couple of women that you mentioned earlier that just some interesting, something I think you want to touch on, two women?
Yes, we're going back, way back in the day. One of the people I'd like to talk about is Nikki Giovanni. She was an activist in the civil rights struggle. And she was born June 7th, 1943 in Knoxville, Tennessee. And she wrote so many poems that are published.
For colored girls.
Yes, and plays also. And some of her poems was Dreams. I wrote A Good Omelet. I thought that was cute. I'm Not a Lonely Woman, a poem of friendship. And her statement that she made was created by Amanda Patterson, but it's so good. Deal with yourself as an individual worthy of respect and make everyone else with you the same way. I like that. I feel as black women we should do that. Also, she did something, she was one of the people that did something that touched my heart. Traditional gospel music was kicked aside in the 50s. The school that I went to PS 86 on 96th Street and Lexington Avenue. The neighborhood was well mixed, but it was ran mostly by the Jewish community. On 95th Street, which is one end of the school, and Lexington Avenue, going back up to Fifth Avenue, was Jewish. And the schools, the Board of Education, is still ran by the Jewish people. And I was asked at 10 years old, they knew I went to church, did I have any Negro spiritual songs? And at my church, in the way I was raised, it wasn't no such thing as Negro spiritual song. We sang traditional gospel.
But the nerve of them to ask you.
Yes, but I took some records and we had those old 78s, and it was under specialty label. And it was a popular group that sang all over. They even made a movie, The Sunset Jubilee Singers. And when I got to school, oh, Sheila, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about Negro spirituals, wade in the water. And I said, we do wade in the water, but we do it in a different way. That's what they do on the plantations when they had plantations. I don't have that kind of music. And I was very hurt as a child for someone to look in my face and tell me that my worship music was not acceptable in that particular school. I started to tell my mother, but I know if I told her, she was a licensed missionary, she would go to school and have the benediction there that day. So I didn't tell my mother. I kept it in me, and as I grew older, I got understanding. When I saw Nikki Giovanni go on television with New York Community Choir singing traditional gospel, I said, here she go, a pave maker.
On that note, Sheila, excuse me, because something's so big right now, you touched on something. School and young people.
Right, I was
The
thinking.
4 young ladies that were asked to strip search.
Yes, yes, and that was unfortunate. It's something that happened in Binghamton, New York. The teachers thought they were acting giddy, a little bit too giddy, or whatever the hell, whatever that means. So they wanted to, they probably thought they were using drugs or something like that. So they asked to search them, strip them, to see what they have, what's in your bag, and oh well, maybe you got something on you. How dare you? And they were 12 years old. So 3 of the young girls consented. One of the young girls said no, so they immediately suspended her. Young people in our school system, they do have rights. You have the right to say no. You cannot strip search me. They do have the right, school officials, if they feel as though something is wrong, some type of incident, some type of probable cause to believe that you have drugs or you may have a weapon or whatever. They do have the right to go and
to separate
check.
you from
Right.
everyone, but then they have to call what, your parent or?
Well, they don't necessarily have to call your parents, because if they feel as it's something that's really important to handle now, to do now, they're going to do that. But there's a fine line, because now you're violating my rights as a person, as a citizen, as a young person that goes to this school. But this is an assumption. This is a stereotype. This is a belief that says, I think you're acting giddy. Well, what does giddy mean to you? Teacher, the young girls were black and the teachers obviously were white.
I totally
and they,
think that was wrong. Let me just
yeah.
make that clear. I think that's 100% wrong. But let me play devil's advocate here, because I love playing this with you. What if they suspect I have a needle on me full of heroin? They just suspect, because a teacher walked by and heard me talking about that. And maybe even saw me slip, I don't know, something like that. Then do they have the right?
Is it affecting
to
the general public? Is it
search
affecting
me?
the student body? If this is one person's assumption, where did they get it from? You see what I'm saying? This comes into profiling. I think she has a gun or a weapon, or, if you say, I think you have a gun, and, if it's going to affect a larger population student body, yeah, there may be. But if I think she has a needle, what the hell, where did you get that from? Why? It's just, what made you come to that conclusion?
Say I just heard it. Say I heard another person saying, did you bring the heroin? Yeah, I got a needle, don't worry about it. What can be done is what I'm saying.
You know what, I hate to even go here, but I'm thinking about Sean Burrell and the other police supposedly heard that they said, let's go to the car and get our gun. Look what happened. He got, they shot him up 51, I mean, come on. Because of something that you heard. So there has to be a level of investigation, and the most important thing is why. Is it doing anything to impact the livelihood of others? So we know some of the schools like Sandy, these young people, Columbine, they go in and they shoot in these schools. They're shooting up the students and everything. Does acting giddy, going to hurt the entire
No, I think
student
that was 100% wrong. I just don't know where that line is that I can then either, and I'm not saying they should ever be strip searched.
Danger,
you should
if
know
there's
that.
a fear that something is going to affect the larger student body, yeah,
But you see, that's on a personal note.
Right.
My
So
thinking
therefore,
that, and
it
you
comes down to
thinking that-
stereotype, and they were profiled.
Okay. I think they might, but I'm just saying if someone wasn't. I don't see every situation as stereotype. I just,
But
that was.
But to
No,
take
that
it
was.
from one level to the next and say, okay, what do you have in your bed? Well, ask me, why are you acting like that? I'm having a good time. Today's a happy day. But does that mean that now you're going to humiliate me and make me take off my clothes so that you can discover what?
I don't think a child should
grounds
ever
of my
be strip
happiness.
searched.
The
I
reason,
don't think they should ever.
Yeah.
I think if that's true, then they should have been removed. If that's your opinion.
Yeah.
And then a parent called
Call my
immediately.
parents.
And then the teacher, the parent, the child, the principal, a nurse. Then we sit down and I want to know why you pulled my child
Right.
out. I want to see the report.
Right.
And then if I go in a room with a nurse and we do strip search with me there, I have a lawsuit and I'm going to sue you afterward if nothing is found.
there's a lot of incidents of this going around.
So
they
I
say
don't think they
breathing
should
while
ever
black.
be. I don't think white, green, or yellow. I don't think anybody should be strip searched. I think as a
they
child,
should.
a parent
and it
should have been
clearly
called.
specifically says no. There's a lot that you can do. You might want to search their wallet or whatever, but it's a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. There are search and seizure procedures that they must follow. You cannot just
What grade
go
were
through.
they in at 12 years old? What
So they
grade?
probably was seventh grade.
Oh, so that is.
Yeah.
That's not high
Yeah.
school. That's right. That's
Right.
right. That's
Search
right.
her drawers. Oh my God.
Where is the what did you think I had? Drugs. Okay, so where would I hide them? In my bra and I'm 12. But see, 12 to them is not the same. You know.
I'm sorry, Veronica.
You
12
have children.
To me, 12
you have children
nowadays.
that will jump in a car and go and drive, You have white children that jump in a car and go drive their parents' car and they go joyriding. You have a black kid that jump in a car and they go drive their car, and now you've just committed grand larceny because you stole an auto. I didn't steal an auto. I'm just having fun. There's a it's unfortunate that, but it's how we're perceived and ultimately how you are sentenced and how you are charged. And that's exactly what happened. She can be happy and giddy and walk down the hall and it's okay because they're being normal children. But a black child, you know, just like the black child that was out there selling lemonade and the white woman called up, you know, there's a lot of this going on, unfortunately, and they're saying that this is the time of the climate that we're living in, thanks to President Trump. You know, it's unfortunate. I don't
think, and this just could be me, I don't think he has done it. I think he is allowed for those people to now exhibit it. You don't make somebody into a racist because somebody else is. He's just given permission for you now to openly and freely be that. But
because they're still here. I mean, think about it. If we're saying 1964, we had the right to, you know, segregate. What happened in 1964? I'm just drawing a blank right now. March on Washington and everything like that. So then, if that happened, those people are still here. 1964, that's only 50 years. Where did racism go? Where did it go?
63
but it's still alive and well.
Right, it's still alive, and those people are still here. And racism, stereotypes, all of that is a learned behavior, and a lot of it comes from the home.
Oh, absolutely.
It begins in the home.
No, if you put little kids in a playground together who didn't know, they
look at the young boy that was there, and he was taunting the Native American. He was playing his. I'm trying to think of where, and he had this smirk on his face, and he said that he didn't mean anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He had a red hat on, "Make America Great," and the Indian is playing his. I think they was in Washington, and it disturbed me, but yet, and he was a young man, young teen. He didn't think he did anything wrong, but yet the climate, but yet what he's learned in his home. If you were taunting him or taunting this man, you know, this is something that you learned at home. Why would you think that there was a problem with this Native American sitting here playing his, you know?
But getting back to the girls that they search, I understood they searched their drawers, and if this was white girls, they would have never went into their underclothes.
No, they were just
like
having
that.
a happy day. They would have never even been brought in.
So, couldn't they do something about that? Could they be
Sue
sued?
them. Well, they're sued. They're being sued. Yeah. They're, but the school administration doesn't believe. First, they try to say that nothing like that happened. Then the family, there was a big over 200 people from the community were there at the school and saying, "What's going on? Wow. Why are you doing this to my child?" So they're in, you know, they're outraged, and rightfully so. You know, there was another incident with a young girl. They was at the mall. They were laughing, having fun or whatever. The mall cops thought they were too rowdy and told them to leave. Of course, they didn't leave so quick enough or whatever. They called the police, and the cops came on the scene. 14-year-old girl, lock her up, had her on the ground. It's on YouTube, you can see it. And he's just punching her in her ribs. I'm like, you know, what are you thinking? To hit her, she's a young girl, first of all.
No bigger than a minute.
Right, so you're gonna destroy her, you know, kidney. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. And he just kept punching her in her ribs. Why aren't our children being protected? Well, if we take it even further, it just seems as though there's a climate against women, particularly black women, in terms of what's happening to them, in terms of the attacks that are happening to them. At least that's what's on the forefront of what I see with the young girl, with the baby.
Yeah, in the welfare office.
Go, please. Talk about that.
So this young woman, she goes to the welfare office to, I guess, find out what's going on with her benefits. And she's standing there for hours, 4 hours. She just got tired holding her baby 1-year-old. So she sat on the floor. So she's blocking the entrance. The cops there basically The hospital police, I mean, whatever, DACR, they basically said, you can't sit here, you're blocking this place. She says, I'm not moving, I'm tired. They call the police. The police come. And now there's this big, it's pandemonium. They are grabbing the baby, yanking the baby out of this young girl's arms.
Now, they would have been more of gentlemen or ladies.
And
or
it was a
whatever.
woman, it was a black woman. I mean, we are nurturers. This woman,
To
she was
offer her a
standing up
chair.
and she was, and yanking this baby.
They could have offered her a chair.
Just
Or
give her a
someone
chair.
should have got up, some man or someone who's able-bodied, see the woman with a baby, get up and
Just give it
her
a chair. It isn't,
What's so
she
big
did not
about-
commit a crime. So you mean to tell me that in your official capacity, your training, that you were not taught how to deal with this type of situation? How to resolve this solution? The way to resolve it is to call it, because now you view her as a criminal, that she did something wrong, that you can't handle it. She got a baby in her hand. Of course, she's not going to do anything crazy. What's she going to do? You know? And these are some of the things that happened in 2018. We haven't had a chance to sit and speak.
I wonder where
but
these people come from with this type of mentality.
I want to know what
do
happens
something
to
like
those
that.
officers that were at the scene that was yanking that baby out of this. You know, they couldn't have been mothers.
They couldn't even be fathers.
If they were mothers, they would not have yanked that baby out of her hand.
A decent father wouldn't either.
And if there was another mother or woman there, I seen some women they was taping and stuff like that, I probably would have jumped on top of them. You know, just to protect them, to protect that baby. How dare you? It just broke my heart. And then we can even go further. There was another incident, and I heard about this on Community Cop. I had to Google it to find out, but this actually happened in the Bronx. There was a woman who was apparently, obviously arrested, but she was in shackles, but she was pregnant. So she had her arms and her feet shackled.
Yeah.
She was giving birth. And they would not take the shackles off. They said, no, the patrol guy says that we can keep them on. It does not say that, especially if there's an emergency or something like that. And as a matter of fact, there have been laws put in place since 2015 that says that if a woman is giving birth, you will take those shackles or those handcuffs off. This woman had to have her baby handcuffed to the, I don't know if they probably did not have a wife that had a baby and witness, because you ever seen women, they be screaming and breaking your arm and everything. I can only imagine the fact that she could not move. And so in order for them to do it, the doctor says, hey, listen, take the cuffs off. Then they said no, they had to go speak to a supervisor. The supervisor said,
What did this lady do? That's what I missed. What did the lady do?
It was an order of protection violation or something like that. Something very simple. So you know how ashamed she was. She wouldn't even tell her family. She didn't want to give her name. She was so embarrassed. She was humiliated, dehumanized to the lowest of the low. Think about it. Here we were when we were women go back to slavery in the fields picking cotton, had to have a baby in the field and get your ass back up and go to work. How dare you? Like, there's a disconnect. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with your humanity.
And your dignity.
And your dignity and your pride and your respect and love for your fellow man. This is a woman giving birth. You can make this baby die. It just broke my, so these are some of the things that has happened last year that just crushed me. I'm like, what is wrong with us?
Could you picture this baby of 15 years later talking about, I was born and my mother was in shackles, and how that would affect her?
In 2019, not in 1902, but in 2019,
Right.
that happens.
What is wrong with us? What was wrong? What were the officers thinking? I wonder if in both incidents, were the officers later thinking, saying, damn, I fucked up. Like, I shouldn't have done that. Damn.
Or I shouldn't have gotten caught.
That's more like it.
Right.
That's more.
That has nothing to do with
When
power,
you think
with strength,
less,
or anything.
No, when you think less of another human
Human
being, you don't witness it and then think more. There has to be a serious change of heart when you come to realize, what have I done? That's not something, you know, when you call someone a name or you call something and then you later look and go, oh, maybe I shouldn't. That's not, there has to be a good,
And the thing about it
a
is
revelation.
that they probably have been doing it already and getting along with it
Absolutely.
for so long.
That's not something you do
just
one
don't
time.
just right.
Yeah, you don't wake up in the
I'm
morning
gonna
and say,
take
I
this
dislike.
baby out of.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes strength to yank. And she held on, and I was like, I prayed for her. I said, hold on to your baby. You're not yanking my baby from my hand. She held on for dear life, and I don't blame her.
The first teachings that I was taught, I had to play a role as a mother trying to hold on to. It says you always ask, can you take the baby? You never take a baby out of anyone's hand.
Wow. See? And she said no. Okay, so then now what do you do? Let me just get her a chair.
And it just what she said, deal with yourself as an individual worthy of respect.
Wow.
And make everyone else deal with you the same way. And she was advocating that in the 50s.
Wow.
We have to be absolutely sure, and it's so funny because I received something the other day in the mail that questions whether I'm registered to vote. And I remember getting up this morning saying that's first on my list now that I'm home for a couple of weeks, that I have to be absolutely sure that there is no problem. And we want to urge everyone out there, please do not wait till the last minute to question. If you have to one day go down, go to any center, show your registration card, show your voter's registration ID number, show anything and say, just want to be sure I can vote.
Yeah.
Secondly, and this was when our President Barack Obama was in, when I was working the polls. They are not allowed to have anyone in a poll that is wearing paraphernalia, wearing a hat, anything.
Electioneering.
Anything,
Yeah, electioneering.
anything. They were so strict about it with President Barack Obama that they wouldn't even let me give out an ID card out front on how to use the computer inside. Because we had elderly people who had never voted before, but come out for President Barack Obama.
I stood on a long
And
line.
I was out front, and I was giving out something, and the police told me I could not give it out because on the other side it had vote for president, vote for Barack, and they made me throw them away, and they watched me throw them away. I put out a lot of fires with young people who had on T-shirts and hats, and so much, Veronica, you'd be proud. So much after it was over, I had a police officer ask if he could talk to me to the side, and there were a couple of men in suits, and I was like, what? And they were like, we are actually looking for people to be hostage negotiators. Have you ever thought about, we're looking for the training? And
Really?
they said, we saw you put out fires that could have been
my
explosive
goodness.
here. When I was just telling people, we got two options. You can cause a scene and let those police officers arrest you, or you can turn your shirt inside out, or let me borrow that hat, or let me wear your pin and go in there and vote. Now look at me, don't look at the officers. Look at me and let's make this decision together. And I put out quite a few fires because I knew that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
They were there for that reason, and our polls the machines were broken inside and things like that. But I am just saying we must vote for mayor, for governor, for everything.
That's right.
We must vote. We must. So please don't wait till right about that time, because my gut is telling me there are going to be a lot of people with a lot of stuff. One little thing, quick example, they are trying to deny my mother thing because they told her that she has to prove what her maiden name was when she was married for 28 years and 25 years.
Wow.
Two separate men, two separate times. Why she has to prove what her maiden name is when she's been voting she got something in the mail saying that. So I'm just stressing, please, 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 it's a new year.
Yeah.
We're talking about things that are happening.
And be careful
it's a new chance.
too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost risky to travel.
It
you
is.
might not be able to get back in the country. Who are you? What's your name?
Well, they now say in New York we need a New York ID
Oh, my goodness.
card moving forward. They're very, very serious. And I pulled up my passport the other day, and they said, no, New York ID if you live in New York. And this man was not kidding.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
I'm stressing you, please
Yeah.
check on these things. I'm okay being wrong. We here are humble enough to tell you we may or may not be right. That's Nat thing. You don't tell Nat he wrong, for those of you who don't know. I want to hit on something that's personal because it has really, it's a defining moment in my life. Those of you who may or may not know, I have a large part to do now with the Miss Universe and Miss USA beauty pageant. President Trump hired me, I think it was 10 years ago. To work as a runway choreographer. Long story short, I was in Thailand. We were doing the show. You may have seen it. It came on December 20th. Afterward, there was a campaign against me for speaking my mind. I'm not saying anything negative, but actually uplifting someone else. Let me repeat that. I said nothing negative about anyone, but I was uplifting another candidate. And a group of people decided to take to cyberbullying. And I have never experienced anything like this in my life. I think it's ironic that my celebrity friends kind of laugh at me. They're actually sending me notes and things saying, now you made it. You know, the fact that you had 29,000 followers and nobody ever said anything bad was weird, but I've never had it. I was called names that I've never, everything from nigger to monkey to whore to just drag queen, to things that I won't bring up. But I just want to say, at first it hurt me, it startled me. I get.
How many emails did you get?
I stopped counting, but I'm telling you, it was well over 100.
Oh,
I'm telling you, I stopped counting. I just started going.
100,000?
No, well over hundreds.
Right,
there were
hundreds.
Yeah,
right.
I just started to block them so they couldn't come.
Okay.
They couldn't come anymore. Well, to be quite frankly, I learned to turn off the section comment so nobody could comment anymore, and that saddened me.
Right.
I would post and let no one comment because there were so many coming in. I just first want to tell you how I fought it. You may have heard before, I take my walk with Christ very seriously as a Christian, and there are several things in the Bible that lends me to this. We've had a conversation in the past about people forgiving so quickly. And by no means am I saying you could hurt someone in my life and I forgive. But I will tell you the first place I had to go to was in the Bible where it says, if you don't forgive, I won't forgive you. And my mind went to, the last thing you're going to do is keep me out of heaven. Now, y'all going to be crazy if you want to, but I'm not going with you. I went immediately and thanked all those negative people. But listen why. They now helped me help others. I think my calling, my ministry on my life is working with young people. And what I realize is young people don't want to hear anyone say, I've never done it, but this is what I think you should do. So because of that, I think God has to give me more empathy than he gives others. And going through that myself, Veronica, I don't know how a 13, 14, 15, 16, I am 50-something years old, and it almost took me to my knees.
Wow.
And if I did not have Christ, it would have taken me to my knees. But to think that these type of things go on, and long story short, maybe kind of hard now, but long story short, I went fighting it. I had people come in supporting me, and I got the number of emails and phone calls from parents asking me to help their children, kids wanting to know how I deal with it with that amount of courage. And I just want to say, please, please, you do not have to suffer alone. I Googled myself the number of organizations, and for parents, I get you don't get it because I didn't get it. But there are organizations that can help you with things that have been deleted immediately. Example, Snapchat, I think it's called Snapchat.
Yeah.
There are organizations to help, but Veronica, this is one of those things I say, the crime the punishment hasn't caught up with the crime because we didn't have to deal with this. We got the bullying.
Right.
But in our neighborhoods, it took a village to raise a child,
Yes.
and your neighbor would have told your mama and the cousins down the street and the neighbors down the street would have went to visit that house of family, and that's how we would have handled it.
Right.
Or parents would have went to the church and the minister would have got the community and they would have went and spoke to these parents. Nowadays,
You don't see it.
this is something, and I think it's causing a deal of depression. That depression with cyberbullying in your body and your nose
Young people
and your
are
hair.
killing themselves. They're
You don't
committing
make enough
suicide.
money.
Yeah.
You don't dress. Your sneakers aren't like us. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, but the impact, you have young people actually committing
Suicide, feeling less than, not
yeah.
worthy.
I think that prior to us coming in there was a young woman who is a gymnast, very full figure, shapely, but she's badass, and she's top 10, and she's been body shamed because of her. Because of the way she looks.
Well, look at
But she
Serena
is
and
amazing.
Venus and
Ooh,
Serena when they first put braids and beads in their
But
hair.
how many
when
people
they
going
wore
around giving
different
butt injections and wearing booty
clothing
pops, trying to,
Well, my mother has a saying: everybody want to be black, but black people. She used to say, everybody laying in the sun, everybody getting permanents in their hair,
But you
they
know
getting
what?
bigger butt and bigger lips,
and-
and we trying to straighten our hair and wear bleaching cream
Isn't that the
and say we
saddest
part
thing?
Indian, and yeah, my mother used to crack us
But
up
I'm going
saying
to
that.
give you a quick story. So I went to Senegal in Gambia. And, of course, like you said, with the hair and all of that, I went there and we were in a village and they didn't have street lights. And so when we got off the bus, they had the Mako Jumbies, the ones with the masks and dance and everything. And then it was kind of like it started to get dark, and then it became pitch black. I was like, "Oh hell, let me get back on this bus," because you couldn't see. And then all of a sudden, the moon just lit up the village, and I gained a greater appreciation for that, for the sun, for the people. But then all the little children that were around, they had blonde hair. And I was like, wait a minute. Real natural blonde hair. So we can sit here and say that, we're going for the colors and stuff. We come in all shades, all colors,
Absolutely.
and I gain a greater appreciation for who we are and how we have the ability to make any color babies or whatever, and the colors that we have. We have a genetic memory, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we're pulling. Because I love.
Well, that's where the fear of racism, I think, comes from. That more mixed individuals exist, and it's that whole there will be no pure blood Caucasians moving forward. That there are just more mixed.
I wonder if
Who
there
is
is
pure?
any.
Well,
Yes,
I think
because-
that's a big part of the fear of back to us.
You ever watch Henry Louis Gates? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it because when you see some of these people and they find out that they're either white or black, and he traces it down to it's the funniest thing. Like Stephen Tyler when he found out that he was black, he said, "Whew." He said, I kind of knew that already,
Yeah, but what about in the Bible, Solomon? He went and married and had children for the women in the northern area. That's why I don't believe that there's no pure blood Caucasians.
If you can truly find love and you get rid of all of the racism, all of the stereotypes, all of that, and you pull us down, humans, to its bare essence and find love, then you will have the most amazing thing.
Absolutely.
And it has no color.
It doesn't. And you know what I like to say? When the aliens come down and rip our skin off, let's not find something else to hate each other about. We're just bone. I just imagine somebody somewhere looking up going, what is wrong with these people? There is so many problems in the world. Why are we hating each other?
What's his name? Derek Bell. He did a book called Faces at the Bottom of the Well, and I think it had something to do with the aliens coming, and they said, we're going to clean up your entire everything, all your ailments and sickness and stuff, but you got to give us your black folks. And they went through a decision and decided, should we give them up or should we keep some of them? And so finally, they ship those Negroes on off, get rid of them. I think Cosmin Slop did that too with George Clinton. It's like, okay, let's get rid of them. Aliens. Aliens.
I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't make sure I hit on People's Film Festival.
Oh, yes.
Those of you who are not familiar, you will hear me talk about it because it's one of the things we are most proud of. Sheila and I dedicate time and energy and anything that Veronica needs. We work, and we are just so proud of Veronica. Veronica, tell us about the People's Film Festival and submissions.
And I'm thankful too. I am so thankful for you because, I mean, at this point, you know, everybody that is a part of it
believes in it.
And volunteers. I'm not paying them. I can't, you know, and so it is definitely a labor of love, but it's something that I feel that is important for us to have venues so that we can have access. Because a lot of times filmmakers aren't getting into these big festivals. Where do you go? What do you do? Do you stop being creative and you stifle your talent, your dreams, your hopes and visions? No. So here you have the People's Film Festival, and we don't put the same criteria on it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do it, and I keep doing it. Each year I say I'm going to stop, and I just keep
you're not going to stop.
I keep
look out
back.
there in viewing audience. Great.
And
there you go.
May 30th to June 1st. We dropped it down to 3 days. So it's going to be at the Magic Johnson Theater and the Maisel Cinema. And submissions are still open right now.
And
so
what are some of the categories for submission?
All categories. We have documentary, shorts, horror, music, whatever, and even urban film. You know, like
things taped on a phone. Can they submit something?
Because sometimes you get the best clip, and this is
That's
a 4K
right.
camera now.
There
y'all.
you go.
So you can shoot if you can shoot and you have skills and you can edit it and put it together. You know, and just speaking about that, because the Oscars about to hear the Black Panthers cleaned up at the SAG Awards, so I can imagine what they're going to do. Spike Lee as well. He's been nominated for Oscars, and I'm like, I'm so happy
with
for
the
him.
movie about the KK.
Yes,
movie?
yes, the Klansman.
The Black Klansman.
But here we're talking about women. There is still a lack of women in Hollywood directors. The top Hollywood directors is only 7%. So, and we're only like a Jodie Foster or Ava DuVernay. It's unfortunate that we women have not broke through that glass ceiling, but yet we have skills. So, individual festivals is where you find these women directors, like the People's Film Festivals, and I like to honor them and highlight them. And so this year we're saying the power of the power of you as women, because we got talent, we got skills.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, Wonder Woman was one of the films that was amazing, but we can do more. You know, so come to the People's Film Festival. We want to know your stories. It's a product of what we've done here at Manhattan Neighborhood Network, because this is where we thrive and we create and we think about what are we going to do next. It's like, Veronica, we got to do something.
And
this is what we do.
And seasoned citizens,
Yes.
don't just sit home in the rocking chair or go to play bingo. You have skills. Make your dream come true. That's why God gave you a second chance to enjoy retirement from one career. Go into the next. Help younger people grow in the way that God has blessed you.
And I'm going to add that, tell your story. We have to document.
Yes.
We have to document things.
it.
We have to enrich each other's lives. Gosh, I hate when we run out of time.
I know, but I say love and respect women because, you know, I just have to mention Kanye's refs. I love it.
Go ahead. Let's do it quickly.
I don't know who knows that song. I love it. I don't. Sometimes I think it was because of it, but he just slanders and he disgraces women. He talks about his wife and he talks about screwing his sisters and I mean, I don't know. I said maybe him and his wife was having fun, laughing with the beat. You know.
What about the R. Kelly?
Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, what about
He said, my mind is telling me no, but my body saying me yes.
We forgot Alma John. We're sitting here on the work of Alma John in New York City. She was born 1906. She died in 1986. I can speak on her on a personal note because she was the one that encouraged me when I knew nothing about television. It was Alma John, the founder of the Gospel Showcase. We met her at Copeland's, and she kept saying, Sheila, you must do this. Sheila, you must do this. Now, what else she did for the community, she started the program at Harlem Hospital for practical nurses in 1952. She graduated as a registered nurse in 1929. And she had a a radio show called The Homemakers. She would go to she would do this at, it was a club called on 125th Street called the Palms Cafe. It was a very upscale club.
I don't want to cut you off, Sheila, but what year was Alma John?
Alma John was 1952 was the program for the practical nursing. But she became
a visionary back then, and then here we have a Kamala Harris today.
She graduated in 1929, and then after that, I don't have the year here, but you can Google it, that she started the Homemakers Club on the radio. Then she went to national television, and she had a show called Black Pride.
Wow.
And she would talk about, have young people on there. She would tell the positive things that young people were doing. And going back to her career as nursing, she would call her nurses at Harlem Hospital brown women in white.
Ooh.
And she was very instrumental on black women coming on television and radio.
Well, let me add a quick higher note. Bennett College is an all-women's black college, a historical black college. Papa John's Pizza just gave them, donated $500,000, $500,000. Now, you know, he was the one that was pissed off because he said the NFL helped diminish his sales and stuff like that because of, you know, the Colin Kaepernick, all of that fiasco. But he gave $500,000 to them, all-female black college, and I thought that was kind of important to mention on a high note, and hopefully they have more donations to our historical black colleges because they are struggling. And I think somebody just gave $1.5 million to Disney. Was it Disney or something? And to that, and so it's like, well, we need more. We need more. We need our support, but we also need Alma Johns.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think what we're trying to say is be a mentor. Be a mentor, and be a mentor by example. I think it's to those that much is given, much is due, and much is expected. So we here have enjoyed this so much, as usual. Always enjoying this. Nat, thank you for letting us take over. And now, Veronica, help me out here. How many more seconds do I have before we have to take off?
Maybe 2. So the People's Film Festival, May 30th to June 1st.
All right.
And I hope you all come out and support, because in order for this to exist and continue to thrive, it's you that will sustain us and help it grow, because it's all about you. It's all about your creativity, your vision, your story.
We love you here.
Yay.
Bye.
Peace.
30 frames a second.
Yeah.
Are we over?
No, we're not over. It's 59.
Oh,
Yes, it's 59.
oh, great. See, Veronica is supposed to help me with that kind of stuff, I want to say.
Is it
Sheila?
59 or 58 or 50?
It's 59.
It doesn't matter.
It's really
Sheila, is there
Okay.
anything you'd like to say? We have 30 seconds.
Oh, congratulations to Salvation Baptist Church in the Bronx, where Reverend T.C. Tramble is the pastor. That's my grandson. He just got back from Africa.
Excellent.
And I just got back from Philly with the Sisters of Wisdom, Marsha Lee. Love you. New beginnings. I have a new beginning, and I thank you. Thank you for that amazing, fabulous retreat.
That's
Sisters
going to
of
be our
Wisdom.
theme moving forward
Yes.
for 2019.
New beginnings.
Yeah, I
New
like that.
beginnings.
Yes.
It's a new year, new time. Let's make sure we vote. Let's make sure we mentor. And most important, let's make sure we stay tuned for 30 frames a
Here
second.
we go.
All right.